What's up, everyone? I hope you're all doing well. In this video, Candace Owens is back and she is declaring war on Turning Point USA. Now, most of us know that Charlie Kirk did not like black women at all, but he did like Candace Owens. That was allegedly his best friend, and she is riding hard for him, and she is letting us know and giving us the details on how the people at Turning Point USA may be the cause of his demise. And we are going to get into it right now. Please subscribe to my channel. And of course, all credit to her channel. Here we go.
Lone shooter. No one else involved. Just a crazy guy with too many pronouns in his bio. Hey, 1963 called and they want their narrative back. All that's missing from the story is a grassy knoll, right? Just need a grassy knoll. Anyways, back at headquarters, I am told it's business as usual. And it's kind of giving me like, I don't know, LBJ when he gets sworn in that famous picture. Unfortunately, sworn in. Unfortunately, of course, he's sad in this photo. Gosh, he's obviously not wanting to be the president of the United States. JFK was shot and killed. And now LBJ has to step up, unfortunately. But I got to be honest, I wasn't there. I don't think LBJ was actually that upset. I don't know why. Vibes. The vibes just aren't vibing for me in that picture. But maybe he was. Maybe the truth is that LBJ simply, to use an expression, had his wits about him. And JFK had a plan. Like in the event that he had been horrifically assassinated in front of the world, JFK maybe had a succession plan. Now, if these terms I'm using here sound familiar to you, it's because they should sound familiar. It's the exact terminology that was utilized by Pastor Rob McCoy just 4 days after Charlie was murdered. In front of his congregation, he spoke about Charlie's succession plan that he was somehow privy to. I don't know why, but he knew 4 days later and announced to the world that Charlie indeed had a plan. Take a listen.
Everyone's worried about the leadership of TPUSA. Don't. He was wise enough at 31 to put together a plan for succession. It's very clear what they decided, and they're implementing it now.
Amazing. I mean, amazing. So on September 14th, we were made aware of this succession plan. And I find that to be fascinating. The people who didn't even know Charlie all around the world seem to be fighting harder for him, fighting harder for truth. And it is, in fact, thanks to people on the internet like Sam Parker, James Lee, Ian Carroll, Zeb Boykin, many others, that a video from September 10th has gone pretty viral, okay? So let's take a look at this. It's a video of course, Pastor Rob McCoy's son. His name is Mike McCoy. And you're going to see what he does, not in the seconds following Charlie getting shot, but in less than 1 second after Charlie gets shot. These are not seconds, less than 1 second. You're going to watch what Michael McCoy does. First, let's hear his daddy's version of the events. Take it away, Pastor McCoy.
As a father, I want to protect my son. And I thought, I got a plan for you, son. He said, Dad, that's not Charlie's plan. And you know what? I'm looking at my son who's 24 years old. Justin's the CFO, Chief Financial Officer, and Mikey's the Chief of Staff. And I'm watching, the minute Charlie was shot, he called me, says, Dad, Charlie's been shot in the neck. Please call every pastor and pray. I said, okay, son. He has wits about him. He was just directing. He had blood all over him. And
two things I want you to remember here. You may not have caught that, but he said, I was watching, and the minute Charlie got shot, he called, and Mikey McCoy says to his dad, Charlie's been shot, pray for him. He says the minute, maybe he's being a little hyperbolic. We're going to find out. I'd certainly like to find out. But he stops and stuff. He goes, I was watching. Watching what exactly? What were you watching? I wouldn't remember that. It's rubbing me the wrong way. And I'm going to tell you why that's rubbing me the wrong way in a little bit. But the bigger thing is that he says Mikey had blood all over him. Except Mikey did not have blood anywhere near him because Mikey was behind the tent when Charlie got shot. And Mikey, in less than a second, does something that I find to be quite strange. He puts his phone to his ear and he begins a conversation. So we're going to watch that clip in its entirety. Mark is going to bring it in. So we decided to slow this clip down, and we're going to watch this clip slow down so you can see that it is exactly 834 milliseconds from the time that you hear the shot. That is how long it takes for Mikey McCoy to put the phone to his ear. Now, why is that precise timing so important? Because there's no dialing. Mikey didn't have time to dial, okay? You can't dial and put your phone to an ear in 0.834 seconds. The next time that you're going to see Mikey McCoy, as we just showed you, is in just under 2.5 seconds on the other side of the tent. He's on a phone call. So we can track Mikey, but let's watch the clip again in milliseconds so you really grasp how quickly this transpires. So when this clip was brought... There we go. We're tracking that. Yeah, when the clip was brought to my attention, I obviously have a file, I have a big folder of files of every angle, and I decided to track Mikey from every angle available to see, like, maybe we just missed it. And he did at some point put that phone down, dial a number, speed dial, hold down one. I don't know. Maybe we missed it because that seems automatic, right? 0.834. That seems pretty quick. And no, he doesn't do that. We even have him in front of Charlie's car. When Charlie is brought to the car, the waiting car rather, he is still on the phone. And I can show you the clip of that. Take a look at this. Don't worry, we'll slow it down for you. See him in the background with the backpack. It's Mikey McCoy. Okay. So what are we to make of that? The only logical conclusion that I can come up with, and many others, because I've pressed, I said, play devil's advocate. I want you to advocate for Mikey McCoy. I want you to play lawyer, and you are representing your client, Mikey McCoy. What was he do? How did he do it this quickly? No one could win this game. The only logical conclusion that we come up with was that Mikey was already on a phone call at 12:23 p.m. By 12:23 p.m., he was already on a phone call. So I said, let's go back a little earlier in the footage and see if we can find when he actually maybe dials onto the phone. Maybe we can see him pick up the phone and begin a call before the shot takes off.
So essentially there we see that she wants to know, how was he already on the phone so quickly, Mikey? Like, how could he have dialed anyone that quickly? Like, where was he already on the phone? Can we see his call logs? Like, how was that even possible? Who was he even talking to? I don't know. But let's move on. Like I said, you can check it out on her channel. And let's try and move on further ahead into the video where she will be pointing out some other things that she like had some issues with. We'll go ahead and start here at this point.
The idea that they're miking, the person running a company is miking you up, is completely absurd. I didn't like it. It felt new to me. And you know what? When I called him, things got pretty weird. He acknowledged that a lot of new stuff was happening on that day. And I inquired to him immediately about the subtle changes that I recognized. And the thing that struck me as wrong was that he lied to me. I don't know why he was lying to me, but a lot of the things that he said didn't make sense. And I'm going to speak more thoroughly about what it was that he said, because obviously I recorded the phone call. I, of course, asked him why he took down the cameras so quickly. I asked him to, first and foremost, simply show me the footage, because that's all I wanted to do. I'm thinking, again, we're all going to get the band back together and solve this murder. And he got weird. He got really weird. I said, I just want to see the footage so I can debunk. I know that you don't want to put more footage out there. That's fine. But just show me the footage so I can debunk all these internet conspiracies that you were hiding something. I was not suspicious of Turning Point at all, actually, when I called. And I asked him again, what's the reason? What's the reason for taking down the cameras quickly? Why hasn't the footage been released? Let me see it. And he told me that he had spoken only to Erica and the feds that he had regarding the footage. That is, he specifically told me that, as I said earlier, that he had secured that footage because he wanted to prevent Erica, as I told you, from having to relive that moment. And that made entirely no sense to me. I told you guys, because we all can watch Charlie Kirk be murdered over and over and over and over and over again. So how are you sparing any emotions here by taking down the back footage? And then it made even less sense to me and appeared to me as a lie once I saw the footage on FaceTime, when I realized that there was no blood on Charlie. So it was the least traumatizing footage of all. Why be so secretive about it? He then told me that he needed to speak with Turning Point lawyers first to see about releasing the footage. I said, okay, fine. I let him take a couple of days off, and then we got back on the phone. And I said, look, that's kind of a BS excuse too, because you run your own company and the footage is owned by you. He then said, okay, yeah, I do own the footage. I just wanted, just coordinate, check, whatever. Okay. Kind of a lie number 2-ish. Then he said something that really bothered me. He said, I don't know how to send the footage. The file was too large. Oh, I was born yesterday. So you run an entire AV company and you don't know how to send footage. That didn't smell right to me. It got even more bizarre. He told me, and this is when I was extremely uncomfortable. He said, after I offered, you can just use WeTransfer. He said, I don't want to just send the footage over the internet that's behind Charlie's head, because I'm worried that Google might hack me. I swear on everything I love, that's what he told me. He was afraid that Google was going to hack him. So at this moment, I got a little bit, I looked at my team and I started snapping across the table, and I was like, I said to them, literally, guilty of something. I don't know. This is weird. What a stupid lie. I mean, what do you mean just Google? So I said to him, let's just pretend that does happen. For whatever reason, Sergey Brin is sitting around and he's going, I want to hack this person because I want to see footage behind Charlie's head. Does it, whatever. And then he gives the footage to Fox News, CNN, and they play it. And what happens after that? I said to him, I know what happens after. We all get to see Charlie Kirk die from a different angle. We've seen it die from 1,000 different angles. What is actually changing if Google hacks you? Weird. A weird thing to say. I also asked him who he was on the phone with after Charlie got shot. And he told me, and I kid you not, he was on the phone with the ops that were back in Arizona watching. And I said, what ops? We don't have people back in Arizona watching when we do college campus events. Is that something new? He said, yes, it is new. In fact, this was the first time we were doing it. He said there were 2 people, 2 ops that were watching it back in Arizona. And he told me that the reason that they were doing it was because, Candace, he said, Charlie, he was so ambitious and it wasn't fast enough that it was all being live streamed. He wanted people to live cut the clips.
So we saw that. So now let's go further ahead, because she was still talking about some misinformation that she was getting. And let's move a little further ahead to, I would say, at this point.
in place, right? You choose between fight or flight. You run towards him or you run away, and you run away far because you don't know what's happening. Is it one shot? Are there multiple people? Are you being pursued? There's no way to process that. If you are going to be in flight, you should be sprinting and maybe calling 911. That's what I would have done if I wanted to run away and not towards Charlie to make sure he's okay. But this second close friend of Charlie chose to run just a few yards away up to a grassy knoll to take out his phone. A couple of seconds later, he takes out his phone and he begins recording himself. It's a selfie video. Takes a video of himself. So let's watch that video.
They just shot Charlie. They just shot Charlie. They just shot Charlie. They just shot Charlie. He's dead. God help him.
So we saw that. So we are going to move a little ahead where she is now declaring what she wants to get done because of all this, and she is not playing around and she wants all of the smoke. So I'm going to go ahead a little bit to, I would say, this moment right here, and let's take a look.
My reaction, which doesn't actually feel to me to be too distraught, okay? In fact, if this is one of those videos that made me so upset that I was like mad at other people, you know? Like I was like mad at Savannah. I saw Mikey McCoy's reaction. Now I'm looking at this guy's reaction. I'm like, Savannah, like one of the homies. I get assassinated. You film yourself. I get assassinated. You're talking about my succession plan. A couple of days later, I get assassinated. You're lying about little things about me. Everything Turning Point is doing is wrong. And you know it's wrong. You know it's wrong deep down. And I want to say this because there has been a lot of reading in between the lines. It's strange to me. I think I'm a very direct person and I say what I mean. And I do not want people to mistake what's happening right now or to wrongly assume my intentions here. So allow me to be very explicit, okay? I want war with all of you, okay? All of you. And there's a reason. I'm going to get to that reason in a little bit, but I want more with all of you. So write your articles, issue your statements, email the White House, reach out for comment, okay? Say whatever it is you want to say about me. I want more with all of you. Because I know this isn't right. And there is no way you are going to convince me and the rest of the world that all of this is normal. We're not just going to keep on going and jump into a succession plan. We're going to figure out what the hell happened on September 10th first. And I'm going to tell you guys that Charlie had a vision. We'll get to that after a few ads. All right, you guys, taking a quick break to tell you about Riverbend Ranch.
So now we will move along a little bit to where she talks about how Charlie had, or he may have known that he would be leaving this earth sooner than he should have. Like he kind of seen it ahead of time, and she's gonna go into that. So I'm gonna go ahead and skip to that a little bit so you guys can see that. But again, you can go to her channel and watch the whole thing if you would like to. But here we go.
Because we traveled together so much, he would wake up, we would text, and he would tell me about those vivid dreams. And we talked about a lot of things, as you do when you get to know somebody. We talked about the spiritual realm. We talked about religion, our faith, most importantly, what our life's purpose was. And there was this period in April where Charlie kept insisting to me over and over again that he was going to die young. In fact, he told me that Turning Point USA was going to be the death of him. And I'm going to allow you to read his words. And it's funny how this came about, because when I was in Wyoming, I went outside, I was writing, like physically needed to write, to put pen to paper and to pray. And I was sitting in the sun overlooking the mountains. And right when I concluded my prayer, I opened my eyes and I saw a massive bald eagle, and it just made me feel at peace. It's one of those moments where you just are in nature, you see something beautiful, and it makes you feel at peace. And then I felt the need to start going through messages and conversations between me and Charlie. And sure enough, I stumbled upon many messages of him telling me how he would die. And I'm going to show you some of those messages now, a particular set of messages that were written on April 6th, 2018, just a couple of weeks before Kanye tweeted, "I love the way Candace Owens thinks," which is relevant because a lot of things changed after that tweet. And it's relevant because Charlie sensed that something big was about to happen. And I think that is what the something big was. I also want to say, obviously, I am not making up these messages, okay? Turning Point. Actually, Mikey McCoy has access to all of Charlie Kirk's messages. They can tell you that these ones are real. Here is what he wrote. We were again talking about Kanye. Charlie wrote to me, "You're going to be the Iron Lady of America." He had such a political vision for me. I never wanted that sort of a thing. I see it so freaking clearly. I might be Moses, though. I might not see this whole thing through. LMAO. If that is the case, be my David. I said, "Dude, you haven't even realized your power yet." He's like, "You're so young," was what I was thinking. He said, "If I tell you the true prophecy that I know in my gut, it's really sad, but I hope it's wrong." He went on to say, "Anyway, I am not sure if I will live to see the end of this revolution. I believe you were the piece that God meant me to meet that will finish the fight. Since the beginning of TPUSA, I knew in my gut that I might get wiped out at any time. I cannot explain it, but I dream about it all the time, like all the time. Anyway, that's depressing combo for another time, LMAO. I said, "That's weird, more of a fear manifestation than an actualization." He said, "I'm not really afraid of it, but I'm just telling you what I know to be true." And he told me that. I don't know why. Charlie knew he was going to die young. And I don't know. I just felt like I needed to share that because it is in part why the moment that Charlie got shot, I just knew he was betrayed.
So we all saw that. We know how Candace feels. She is going to fight for her friend. I just think that she should watch her back, though, because a lot of people are very, very powerful. I'm not saying that she isn't, but you know, a lot of people could be trying to come after her if they aren't already, because I'm sure she, you know, has a lot of enemies because of all of the like lawsuits. I know she has that one lawsuit going on with that French guy's wife or whatever, Brigitte. But anyways, I hope it all works out for everyone, and let me know what you all think about it. Please get down in the comments. Help us get to 11K subs. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you all next time. Thank you for watching. Take care and be safe.